I'm Gazbot, and this is day 11 of 100 days of making comics!
The last few months, obviously, the thing that aggravates me about every last one of them is that.
Oh, then from down on high, the Dunkin' Donuts were delivered to the G-Fest participants, and rejoice!
Day 2 of Godzilla Fest in Artist Alley. Things will be opening in about 15 minutes. You can see this is the main area where I am. And then as I pan around, there's a secondary room back there. Ooh. So as I was at the show, I kept trying to capture awesome things like this really deluxe suit, and it was a fan-made kaiju character, I believe, and there were Godzillas and Gamoras, all full suits walking around taking pictures with people, but it was something that I just have to catch on the fly. And here's another thing, this whole room was set up like a green screen to actually be filming tokusatsu, giant kaiju type movies, and you can see all the different suits they were using throughout the day, several days. Here's maquettes. I don't know if these were part of what they're filming or just examples of the kind of thing you could build, but you see what I mean, like there was just so much going on. This was right behind me in the Artist Alley room. Somebody brought in their $3,000 remote control Mechagodzilla toy, which is possibly the greatest toy I've ever seen in my life, and the entire room stopped to watch this happen, and everybody recorded it. It was fantastic.
Somebody let a gorilla in. You can't see the gorilla, I just put it.
That was not the person in the gorilla suit, and it actually was the actress who played Fuji in the original Ultraman series, who I'm a fan of, who I did not know was behind me and I was pointing at, and luckily does not speak much English, so would not be offended. This is just a picture of Koji as I originally drew him to be a placeholder, while I further explained that this poor woman who was in her 60s or 70s and didn't really speak English decided to wander over and look in Artist Alley without being escorted, and immediately proceeded to be stopped by someone to get a picture with her, and then another person, and then another person. Now, she was there working. She was signing autographs and taking pictures and being paid for it. She took a break, and rather than hide in her room or something, she decided to walk the floor, and was rewarded by being forced to do work for free that she was taking a break from. And I felt terrible for her, and I wished I could have helped her. But, keep in mind, if you're at one of these conventions and you see a celebrity, try to leave them alone, especially if they're charging for pictures. Maybe if you see them on the street and you're the only one there and you think you could get away with it, I guess that's not so bad. But it took her 10 minutes to get back to the door because every step she took, someone asked for a picture, and I felt really terrible for her.
G-Fest Day 2 over and out. That's right, Saturday, Dunzo. It's 5 o'clock, I'm walking to the train. So I'm walking to the train station. I'm going to the comic store Quimby's, which was the one that was first recommended to me as the one to try to get my comics in. It's a sister store to Chicago Comics, which I already have it in. But that was just sort of a coincidence. I'm gonna go catch a train, then I'm gonna meet Kyle and Eden, and we are going to eat food. Yes, Kyle, if you're watching this, I've mentioned you, but I know what you're thinking. How was the show, Gaz? Well, the show was good. Yesterday was fantastic, great, beyond expectations that I should have had and didn't. Today, I tried to keep my expectations low because common knowledge, common sense, and things people literally were saying would have you believe that Friday is a precursor to Saturday. So if you do good Friday, you're gonna do even better Saturday. That didn't happen. For me. For other people, it may have. It was still a good show. Everybody was happy. But it seemed that there were less people in general there today. Not by a huge margin. And as a result, I had less sales. Now, it was still good. It was still a solid day by any convention standards, but yesterday had sort of set a standard that it was gonna be amazing. Put today and yesterday together, we're doing okay. If I even do average, mediocre, good tomorrow, this whole weekend is still a good idea. It's still a big success that I'd be willing to come back to. If I make 0 tomorrow, well, then we'll have to revisit that, but that seems unlikely. One of the things that helped my day, two of the things actually, are selling prints, selling pins. I sold out of a lot of pins, which is a huge bummer because I have more of them at home, but they weigh so much that I just grabbed a couple bags of each and put them in my backpack. If I brought more, it would have been overweight or I would have broke my back. So I had to limit it, and as a result, several designs are already sold out and we're only on Saturday. Good problem to have, I know, but problem nonetheless. So, what are the things that help mitigate the less sales and the low attendance? Well, I had another commission, and this was similar to the one yesterday where It was a full body, fully inked, fully Copic shaded monster, kaiju. The difference was, instead of being a pre-established character, it was somebody's own personal character that they had created. They were an artist, you know, a little less developed in their skill, and they would go to different artists and have them design their version of it. But what was weird is he didn't show me his version. He showed me two versions other artists had done that he liked. One was this 3D ZBrush rendering, which was fantastic, and in a style I could never hope to match. It's not even like in my wheelhouse. The other was just a regular comic style drawing on like 11 by 17, inked, very good. Both intimidated me. They were both better than what I would do in my opinion. And so I was super intimidated, especially because since I raised my prices were lower, I didn't feel that much pressure to be amazing. It's like, it was $5, it was $10, what do you expect? But this was high, this was a high price. So he would expect, rightfully so, higher quality. And I think I delivered it. But his monster was based on a killer whale. I've never drawn a killer whale. I've drawn a humpback whale once or twice. And so it was this weird thing of trying to match it to make it look kind of like an animal it's supposed to, but also match these two disparate styles that other people did and make it look like his character. And it took a while and it was intimidating. And I was drawing sketches based on what they did, doing research. The other thing is I didn't bring a regular old sketch pad because again, I was worried about weight. So I have my Bristol pad only. So I wasted a couple sheets of Bristol, which is expensive, thick paper. Not that expensive, but still, you don't want to be sketching on it. Just trying to get it down right. So finally I committed, inked it, and I was like mediocre happy with the inks. Luckily I saved it with the Copics. It's like saving it with color, which led me to believe, oh good, I'm glad I charged more and he's getting Copics, because otherwise it wouldn't have been as good. I totally saved it with the Copics. Anyway, here it is, saved with the Copics and all. The other thing that helped me was that I sold a piece of original art. It was the color Goldar face from Power Rangers that I sell prints of. So I sold the original art. Now I only had about 4 pieces of original art with me, all related to Sentai, Ultraman, Godzilla, things like that. And I was having trouble displaying them. I put them in the book for a while, I laid them out, but there wasn't really a good area like original art. But it was a case where he bought the print and through a series of events decided he wanted the original art, and so I changed the print back in and blah, 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 blah. Now when I say series of events, that's because there's another part of this story that I can't get into just yet, but I might be working on a small project related to kaiju things and art, but again, I don't want to discuss that right now until it happens for sure, and it's something, you know, that I'm really doing. So, but it's related to that, because the person who bought it is somebody who would be involved in that project, but either way, he bought it. So that's it for now. I'm going to I'm getting on the train. I think I'm here for 25 minutes. I'm going to try to do some of my time on the train because I got 4 hours sleep last night and I don't want to be up again tonight doing my 30 minutes if I could help it. Yes.
Pythagoreans.
All right, back in the room. Things are done. Hung out with those guys, had some food, walked around town, went to Quimby's, got my comic at Quimby's. 5 issues on consignment. There was another comic store I found, a smaller one upstairs across the street. We went into, they said they would take the comic, but I had already given the 5 I brought with me. So tomorrow after the show, assuming I have some left, which I should, well actually Monday we'll go there. Tomorrow after the show, I'm supposed to hang out with Mr. Mike Space Cat Emirates. That's right, maybe there'll be a guest appearance. Who knows, who knows? Probably, but probably he'll just be like, look, it's him, you know. Anyway, I did 20 minutes on the train going to meet Mr. Kyle, and I just did 10 minutes right now. What did I work on? Well, of course it was Koji, once again. The first two drawings are these. These are both out of my head. I didn't use reference. The one on the right I like better. The one on the left I was liking better, but those eyes came out crazy. This was ink. I used a gray ink brush pen to do the kind of the rough, and then I went in and cleaned it up with the black on the train, so it was weird. Part of it I think is I've gotten used to digital when doing this sort of thing, but today I did another commission, but part of it was, you know, using the ink and the gray and stuff, so I was like, well, maybe I've been using ink, I'll try that mode. It didn't succeed in fixing it and getting the job done and all that stuff, but it kind of took me out of the uncomfort zone. It was going to take me out of the comfort zone, but I was in an uncomfortable zone working with the pencil, so I tried something different, and it was difficult on the train, but that kind of gave me the freedom to mess up and not blame myself. But when I got home, well, when I got home I did a bunch of other stuff, but then just now I did another one in 10 minutes. I was looking at a reference picture that I'd looked at before and drawing from it, but trying not to look at it too closely, just kind of remembering that was there. I don't know that this is the definitive design, but it is absolutely the one I'm happiest with these whole days I've been working on him, and I will show you right here. This is the one I'm talking about. It's closer to the picture. He certainly looks more Asian. I've given him a bigger nose and bigger ears, and I've given him a scragglier kind of goatee beard. One thing I realized, weirdly enough, that has nothing to do with his likeness or his anatomy, but I want him to have a little ponytail, and I kept drawing it on the side, and it was making him look too much like a hippie. And he is supposed to be sort of a peaceful old guy, but I'm thinking more of like a, you know, a monk than a hippie. I don't know if a monk would have a ponytail either, but it wouldn't be big enough to show the side. It would be hanging right here. So I think doing that helped, getting the straggly beard hold. This isn't necessarily 100% final, but this is good enough where tomorrow I won't be working on Koji. And when I get to the pages that have him on it, which are early in the book, I will be basing them on this drawing. So it might change a bit and have some permutations, but I'm much happier with this than I was with the Caucasian hippie-looking guy that I previously had. So once again, like I said, this was a little tedious, and I was sort of forcing it. I did actually get progress made and something done. What am I going to do tomorrow? I'm not sure. I'll probably do another design, I guess. I don't know what. It's the last day of Godzilla Fest, G-Fest, and yeah, so that's where we're at with that. I'm gonna go now. Today is day 11. Holy cow, this is, I mean, I'm early on, but I can't believe I'm already exiting the period where I have 90 something days left. Because if today is day 11, well then that means we've got 89 Ultra days left.